Okay, good morning, everybody. This is now Earth Day. It is April 22nd, Saturday morning here in um, Markham, Ontario, Canada. We have a couple of guests with us today, Admin Moses Ekasiba and Stanislaus Chabala Mwanza. So before I do start these events, each week that we do these events, normally we are doing our Thursday IGU summits and once a month Drawdown Markham events as well. But today is a special presentation. It's going to be a little bit shorter, but we are doing an UNDRIP Day presentation here today. We were intending to do this presentation in person as a live stream from the Markham City Hall in the city of Markham here in Canada, Ontario, in the Greater Toronto bioregion. However, it is raining today, so we did a short ceremony last night at the event site in person while it was still, but today start by saying we acknowledge those who came before us on this land. So we begin today by acknowledging that we walk upon the traditional territories of Indigenous peoples. We recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land. We're grateful to all Indigenous groups for their commitment to protect the land and its resources, and we're committed to reconciliation, partnership, and enhanced understanding. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on here in the Greater Toronto Area is the traditional territory of many nations. On the land known as Takaranto, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Wendat, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe peoples, and is now home to many diverse peoples. We'd like to acknowledge the land we are on here as the meeting place of two treaties, the lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and those of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 and is subject to the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. We also acknowledge the Two-Row Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Six Nations of the Takaranto watershed and the settlers, an agreement that bound them to work together, but to develop their societies in parallel on these shared lands. In our role as settlers and displaced people on this land, we share the responsibility of challenging and disrupting colonial systems that enact violence upon the land. We stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples. We'd like to thank the Indigenous peoples of these lands, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, for sharing this land with us. We also acknowledge and recognize all of the world's Indigenous peoples as stewards of Mother Earth. Welcome, Patrick, along with Stanislaus and Moses, so far with us today. So again, today is Saturday, April 22nd, 2023. We started this Drawdown Markham Global UnityNet World Biodiversity Day. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong slide here, realizing UNDRIP Day. It is UNDRIP Day here. It is April 22nd. So as I noted earlier, and welcome Gaspari as well, yesterday we were at the Markham Civic Center at 101 Town Center Boulevard here in Markham, Ontario, Canada, in the Greater Toronto bioregion, to do a short drumming ceremony, which we recorded and I will upload to YouTube. We did this because today is a rainy day. We did it last night at around sunset, and it is raining right now outside here in Markham. So this was a last minute change, but we are moving forward and we have done at least the preliminary ceremonies. So we are here again for the UnityNet UNDRIP Day 2023 Earth Day drumming ceremonies for this Earth Day 2023 event. So I wanted to note that these events are intended to be done in partnership and support of Indigenous peoples worldwide, including our Indigenous partners in Africa and Eurasia. So my name is Lloyd Halferty, co-founder of UnityNet International. This is UnityNet International, known as Uni, a hybrid holistic practicum learning system management company based here in Canada that also consists and assists with community partnership building locally and globally, or as we like to say, locally, by leveraging a set of community engagement activities. This is one of those engagement activities is the drumming ceremonies. These were developed in partnership with the members of the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors, along with, of course, our members in UnityNet. So I am also the Chief Ecosystem Director, Program Development Director, and a Sustainable Society Consultant for Energime Institute, which is headquartered in Manhattan, in New York, in the US. I am located, however, in the city of Markham, in the Don River watershed, specifically in the German Mills Creek subwatershed, which drains into Lake Ontario, which is the lowest and last of the North American Great Lakes in the Great Lakes Basin of the Greater Toronto Bioregion, or GTB, in southern Ontario, Canada, North America, Turtle Island. So Energime Institute is a private 501(c)(3) nonprofit company based in New York City, a member of the UN Global Compact, a UN academic impact member, and a partner. We are a virtual institute that was created to help empower global populations to reestablish a sustainable balance with their local environments. We do this by designing and implementing projects that support a strong and diversified local economy, while integrating core sustainable technologies and infrastructure into the communities in the areas of renewable energy, high-density food growth solutions, and systems for sustainably managing local waste streams and protecting local water resources. We're supported by over 375 companies whose products and technologies we employ. Importantly, Energime Institute also supports local education and training in the construction, deployment, and maintenance of all of these various integrated solutions for achieving closed-loop systems that in turn support self-sufficient, sustainable communities. So again, I'd like to ask everybody on our call, please put your contact information into the chat. I am doing likewise, so especially if you are new on our call, we can follow up and have discussions. So we here at UnityNet and the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors, or IAGBA members, are here to facilitate the networking and the conversations globally. But it's our members who should consider this to also be something that they can make as if their own in many ways. So the primary thing that we are seeking to do is to help to accelerate the transition from the status quo, i.e. today's current trajectory of development of our economy, such as it is, this in many ways dead-end proposition, and help empower all of our humanity to collectively achieve a localized, productive, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that leaves no one behind for all people on Earth and all our relations. So we're here on this day in order to engage and encourage our young people and students in the city of Markham and York region, within the Greater Toronto Bioregion, at all of our local schools, to start planning and building their own local youth peace gardens in their own local schools and in their own local communities. As with many partners that we have, we can also assist them through Drawdown Markham and UnityNet GTA, help these young people find and secure these partners, both locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. So this event is also being done in order to promote our Drawdown Markham and our UnityNet community engagement events, including our Indigenous Global Unity Summits and all the global unity networks that we have on social media, including on WhatsApp and Facebook and LinkedIn, these discussion groups, the public groups, and the professional networks. So we are helping young people in our own local communities here in Markham, in York region, and the Greater Toronto area, at the schools here in Markham, and with the help of their teachers and parents and grandparents and families, engage in the conversations that we're having within UnityNet, this global unity network. We also want to engage the schools and the teachers and all of our young people and their families and communities in a small competition and related learning program to allow them to design their own bubble fun machines, where our goal is to have a few working bubble making machines created by young people here in Markham, with these bubble making machines intended to be created by about August of this year in time for the Bubble Fun Festival season. So we'll be encouraging these young people in our local community to begin using their creativity, learning about bubbles, and where these entrepreneurial students, wherever they're coming from, in their local high schools or grade schools or at the university or college, we want to help them begin to learn about some of these bubble architecture as well, the architecture of PodNet and solar building and all of the design concepts there as well. So this is part of the challenge we have, is to work together in moving this forward so that people can understand those solutions that will allow them to adapt to climate change. So the other thing that I wanted to mention today, we had last night a short review of some of the reasons why we are drumming, and health reasons in particular to start drumming. So you'll see in the chat, I am actually putting a link to a post around the health benefits of beating your own drum, an article by Dr. Christine Northrup, MD. And I will read sections of that article as well so that people can understand why it is we are drumming. So this is one or some of the reasons for drumming. As the article states, drumming is a great workout for your brain and actually can make you smarter, because when you drum, you access your entire brain. Research shows that the physical transmission of rhythmic energy to the brain actually synchronizes the left and right hemispheres. So when the logical left hemisphere and the intuitive right hemisphere of your brain begin to pulsate together, your inner guide system or intuition becomes stronger. And listening to drum sounds regularly can have the same effect as drumming itself. The sound of drumming generates new neuronal connections in all parts of the brain. The more connections that can be made within the brain, the more integrated our experiences become. This leads to a deeper sense of self-awareness. Drumming also appears to synchronize the lower areas of the brain, the nonverbal parts of our frontal cortex, the language and reasoning parts of our brain. This integration produces feelings of insight and certainty. For those reasons, therapeutic drumming may be a powerful tool in helping retrain the brains of people who have some level of damage or impairment, such as with attention deficit disorder, or ADD, after a stroke, or where there is neuronal disease, such as Parkinson's. Finally, drumming can induce a natural high by increasing alpha brain waves. When the brain changes from beta waves, which is concentration, to alpha waves, you feel calm and relaxed. As such, alpha waves can also produce feelings of well-being and even euphoria, which may help people who suffer from mental illness, such as depression and anxiety. The same alpha activity is associated with meditation and other integrated modes of consciousness. And the article goes on to list 10 health reasons to start drumming, where drumming can have positive effects on your health and may help with many conditions from stress, fatigue, and anxiety to hypertension, asthma, chronic pain, arthritis, mental illness, addiction, and even cancer. And then they go through, here's why drumming is good for you. Because one, it makes you happy. Participating in a drumming circle or taking a cardio drumming class, and you'll see how happy it makes you. Drumming releases endorphins and enkephalins and alpha waves in the brain, which are associated with general feelings of well-being and euphoria. Number two, it induces deep relaxation. In one study, blood samples from participants who participated in an hour-long drumming session revealed a reversal in stress hormones. The third, it helps control chronic pain. Drumming can certainly serve as a distraction from pain, and it promotes the production of endorphins and endogenous opiates, which are the body's own morphine-like painkillers. Number 4, it boosts your immune system. Studies show that drumming circles boost the immune system. Barry Bittman, MD, neurologist and president of the Yakama Music and Wellness Institute, has shown that group drumming actually increases natural T cells, which help the body combat cancer, as well as other viruses, including AIDS. Number 5, it creates a sense of connectedness. Drumming circles and group drumming classes provide an opportunity for synchronicity, in that you connect with your own spirit at a deeper level, while also connecting with other like-minded people. Number 6, it aligns your body and mind with the natural world. The Greek origin of the word rhythm is to flow. Drumming allows you to flow with the rhythms of life by simply feeling the beat. Number 7, it provides a way to access a higher power. Shamans often use drumming as a means to integrate mind, body, and spirit. They focus on the whole body and then integrate the healing at both the physical and spiritual level by drumming, which connects spiritual forces. Number 8, it releases negative feelings. The act of drumming can serve as a form of self-expression. You can literally drum out your feelings. When held negative emotions can form energy blockages, the physical stimulation of hitting the drums can help remove those blockages. Drumming has even been used therapeutically to help addicts deal with their emotions. Number 9, it puts you in the present moment. While drumming, you are moving your awareness toward the flow of life. When you are flowing with the rhythm of your life, you cannot be caught up in your past or worrying about your future. And number 10, it allows your personal transformation. Drumming stimulates creative expression. When you drum in a group, you not only get to self-express, but you get feedback from other drummers. It's the equivalent of talk therapy. Drum circles provide a means of exploring your inner self while expanding your consciousness while being part of a community. And I also have a few other articles to share as well. An article called Lessons About the Importance of the Drum, which is actually a Toronto Star article by Brianne Massey, a local journalist here, actually from the Columbia Valley Pioneer. Was published on October 14th, 2020. This article was actually written with permission from the Shaswap Indian Band and the Akikswinuk First Nation administrations to modernize traditional content for the Rocky Mountain School District number 6 and their students, the David Thompson Secondary School in British Columbia. So as the article states, the beating of the drum helps us listen to our soul so we can understand our purpose and our connection to each other in the circle of life. The drum is female and human. The big drum was a gift from the women to the men a very long time ago, so that men could experience a resonant connection to the Earth Mother that naturally occurs with women. This is why it has been a tribal custom in most tribes that women not sit at the drum or play it. As the article continues, Fisher explained that the voice of the drum can be healing or even meditative for some participants. For First Nations people, the drum represents the universal heartbeat of Mother Earth, the universal goddess and mother of us to us all. The first sound that was heard in the world was the heartbeat of Mother Earth. First Nations peoples manifest this heartbeat through playing a special rhythm on the drum. This rhythm facilitates healing and realignment of the 4 realms of human existence: mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical, because the creator revolves around the rhythm. The drum, when combined with the voice, creates a hum that rests between the voice and the drum and is thought to be the spirits of the ancestors. Therefore, First Nations drums are not percussion instruments per se, or a toy. They are considered female and human because of their ties to the earth. When playing drum, it should never be hammered in an aggressive way, as this suggests it's a beating, and one may never hit a woman. And then finally, there is a link to an article, a couple other articles as well. One is called "The Drum Heartbeat of Our Indigenous Cultures." This was published by ITBC in August 2018, where they note that drum making takes time, patience, and natural resources. It is a symbol of connection and relationship to all. Drums are often given as gifts in thanks for good work or to acknowledge an important relationship in time in someone's life. And there is also a final article here from somebody by the name of Rita Manella, published back in April last year, 2022, called "Wisdom, Drumming the Foundation for Understanding, Connection, and a Key Part of Indigenous Culture and Tradition," where they note, for instance, that for First Nations people, the drum represents Mother Earth and her universal heartbeat. It facilitates the ability of listen to our soul so we can understand our purpose and our connection to each other and the circle of life. So again, this is a little bit about the rationale for why we are drumming and the purpose for our drumming event today. So there's science behind it, but there's also culture and reasoning behind the Indigenous people for doing these ceremonies. So hopefully by next year, we will have the option of being able to do a drumming ceremony with the Indigenous peoples on this important day, UNDRIP Day, which is, of course, Earth Day, recognized around the world. So with that, looks like we probably have only a little less than 10 minutes now. So that completes sort of the formal discussions today, and I will open it up to everybody to have a discussion and their thoughts on this idea of drumming. So it looks like we have another two people joining us. Malaika is coming on the call. Just need to arrange this. So if anybody would like to say a few words before we wrap up today, I'd like to invite them to do so, so we can hear your thoughts on the drumming and the ceremonies that we actively try to be doing. Patrick, you have a few words for us?
Thank you very much, Lloyd. Good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening. Thank you very much. I have always enjoyed Lloyd in his perseverance in getting this done. There was one famous professor from Oxford University, and he has been involved with sustainability for 30 years. And he wrote in an article in a Forbes magazine article talking about how all good deeds go unpunished. So there are a lot of pushback in anything good. I was watching a documentary just last night talking about at NASA, people who sent spacecraft to Mars and to the moon and so on. This lady, one of the engineers, was trying to get everybody to take a picture, turn the aircraft, turn the spacecraft around to take a picture of Earth. And that was a big picture, and the Earth was only a little dot on this big screen there. And it took her something like a few years to convince everybody that they should turn the air, or I believe, Voyager 1 to turn around and take that picture. So, you know, those are the kind of hard things that that I can see Lloyd is doing. It's what is Earth Day? What is drumming? Why is it important? A lot of pushback. So I got to thank Lloyd for being so persistent.
Thank you, Patrick. So yes, that's true. I know of that story about the NASA, and I believe that was Voyager space probe that was sent out, and Voyager was taking pictures, of course, of all the planets. And I think as they were just going past, or they had just passed Pluto, and at that point decided, yes, we'll take that last. And that image, the I think the name of the image was the pale blue dot, because it was just one pixel on the camera of the Earth, and that was it, right? That was the last image and the furthest picture of the Earth that was ever taken by human beings, right? In our machines. So that's actually a very good story, I think, in terms of persistence. I think I'm always believing we are on the cusp, of course, of moving forward. Actually, one of my action items, besides, I actually have a whole list of stuff I need to be doing here. So I'm going to be meeting with Serena on Monday, but I never know when things are going to come along, and I actually need to expand this network. Our Unity network is expanding. I thought, oh, well, we're almost done creating new groups, but actually I have a request to create at least 3 more: a refugee network, an eco-village energy network, a museum network, another one, a pastoralist network, and a school food program network as well. So we have, I think, at least 5 other additional networks to establish. I'm going to be doing that next week. And I will also be, as I said, meeting with Serena, who has volunteered to work with us to help to admit so many members of our future farming group. So that's something I created many years ago, when we were talking about what is the future of farming on a superheated planet. So this is where we started talking about the controlled environment. This is where we discovered many of these solutions like Solar Roof and others that are trying to create this vertical farming and all of these solutions where we can continue to feed ourselves even on a drying and super hot planet where many of our conventional crops may no longer grow in the way that we've known. The other thing is, I'm hoping as well, I'm going to call up my MP. That was something we decided yesterday for our tree planting event in June. We're hoping that we can invite and get our member of parliament at that event and coordinating with us, perhaps even suggesting a site for us to plant at, so that we can involve the federal government, and who can then, of course, invite the provincial government, the municipal government, the local governments, and all of the people that they know. So we want them to actually take the lead on this, so we can bring them up to speed and make them aware of the long-term outcome of what we are trying to do, which is essentially to establish a global network of these eco-villages, self-sufficient eco-villages that can then be productive and produce local and regional food for people in all countries, on all continents. But we start with these youth peace gardens. We start with these UnityNet community unity garden learning centers. We need to educate and train an entire generation in these new solutions to producing what we call regenerative, climate smart food and other products, including textiles, including biofuels potentially, and all of these things that we need to be able to produce on every continent, in every community, as we start to relocalize our economy and start to achieve as much self-sufficiency as we can in every one of our local communities. So I'm seeing there's 2 minutes on our clock. We are just about to run out of time. I'm again asking everybody if they would like to say a few words. I'm just putting a note about what Patrick wrote. Patrick said earlier into the chat, just for our own written records of what we've been doing. I've been trying to admit Malaika, who's been trying to get on our call as well, as perhaps the only female that's been trying to get on our call at least. There she is, just coming in. So we have only a little bit over a minute left. Welcome, Malaika. If you'd like to say a few words just at the end of our call, just to say, yes, I'm here, and introduce yourself very quickly. Is it possible to do so, Malaika, just before we run out, because we have less than a minute? Very, very quickly. Anybody else would like to say a word or so? So this is a short event today. Okay, unfortunately, yes, Malaika's not with us anymore.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Gaspari. Please put your contact information into the chat if you have not done so. We will be off this call probably in less than 20 seconds, I'm thinking, because we will run out of time. So thank you all for coming on this call for this Drawdown Markham UNDRIP Day, EarthDay event with UnityNet GTA. So I'm hoping that we'll see you all on some of our IG